If you're using OpenCode or Claude Code, this tool is a game changer and you must implement it. I haven't done videos for a while, but I stumbled upon this repo and I felt compelled to create a short video explaining about this amazing repository. It's called Rust Token Killer. I will leave the link to the GitHub project in the show notes, in the YouTube video description. It's over here. As you can see, it's gaining a magnificent traction. And the main idea is that it reduces the context of your conversation and basically removes the noise from the conversation. So you maintain your context window clean with only the absolutely most necessary context. Basically, it's a CLI proxy that reduces ALM token consumption. They claim that it reduces consumption by 60 to 90%, which is probably more or less what I'm seeing. I've been using it heavily, and here's just an example. I will show you more in a moment. So first of all, let's discuss the problem. So the problem is raw output is noisy. So when Claude Code runs git status, ls, or cargo test, it gets back hundreds of lines of boilerplate, white space, and formatting noise that the LLM doesn't need. Now, we all know that tokens are worth money. First of all, you pay for tokens. Second of all, if you have a lot of tokens that are not valuable in the conversation, it can reduce the output, the quality of the output. So in a 30 minutes long coding session, raw commands can consume this almost 120k tokens. Most of that is garbage the model ignores anyway. The cost, first of all, you're paying for tokens that describe ASCII art, blank lines, and redundant headers, and not for code. And it also, as I said, it just generates noise, and basically it dilutes your important context. Now, how does RTK work? It's basically a transparent proxy between Claude or OpenCode or whatever and your shell. So without RTK, Claude runs, for example, a git status, and it gets back 50 lines of verbose git output, which is approximately 200 tokens. With RTK, you run this git status, then this hook, RTK intercepts, it filters the noise, and it returns only OK main, which is basically 10 tokens. They have 4 different strategies. So first, they have smart filtering, they have grouping of context, truncation, and deduplication. And for example, it removes noise such as comments, white spaces, boilerplates. It aggregates similar items. It collapses repeated log lines with counts. And basically, it makes sure that Claude never sees the rewrite, just the clean output. It basically requires 0 prompt change on your end, 0 workflow change, and it just reduces the token count. So here's what they tested. So what was tested? They measured across 30 minutes Claude Code sessions on a medium TypeScript Rust project. And basically, they saw that the sessions were almost 120k tokens long without RTK. And when using RTK, it was reduced to 23k tokens, which is basically an 80% reduction. And here they show like what is the reduction that is achieved in the tokens per popular command. So here is an example. So when you do a git push, basically it's 15 lines of progress text. With RTK, you only get OK main, which is 1 line. When you do these commands, you can see over here the reductions from 45 to 12 lines, from 200 lines on failure to 20 lines. And basically, yeah, it just saves a ton of tokens. Now, installation is very straightforward. You can just use any of these commands, or you can come here, just throw this page into your Claude Code instance or OpenCode, and it will basically add the hook, which the hook is deterministic. It doesn't rely on the LLM. So it's very important to know that it will always do this filtering and organizing and reduction of context. This is the example of how it works, which is basically already what I said. If you want to see more of the commands and how they kind of spin them, you can read over here, although I don't think it's so important. They also have an OpenCode plugin, which I'm using, and I showed you already the reduction of cost. So as you can see in this session, 83 commands were proxied through RTK during this session. 20K tokens were saved, 58% reduction. That's context window I didn't waste on verbose output. Biggest wins here were, and it tells me what was the win. And basically it's telling me what happened using RTK in this session. And this, as I told you, it runs automatically in the background, which is very, very convenient. Now, in terms of the downsides, so I didn't figure any downsides so far, but there are a few, but I didn't encounter any of them in practice. One thing to keep in mind is that while the responses are not verbose, the plugin does save all the responses somewhere, so you can debug and read the logs, but they are just not being sent to the LLM during the conversation. This is very important, because if you just switch any response from the LLM with just a few lines, reduce the tokens by so much, but then we cannot debug, so it kind of misses the whole purpose, because we want to be able to debug. So this plugin or this library handles this, and it does take into account the fact that you need your logs, and it saves all the responses somewhere in your repository, which is very important to understand. I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. Yeah, just a summary. RTK cuts Claude Code or OpenCode token usage by 60 to 90%. So far, so good. This is also have been my experience. Very easy to install, supports many different commands, and it is open source, gaining a ton of traction. When I just created this presentation, it was 5.4 stars. Now it's already 8K stars. So it's gaining traction, and rightfully so, because it's very valuable. As I wrote down here, it's a no-brainer install. Check it out. Your API bill will hopefully thank you, and also the quality of your conversations and the output will also increase. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Obviously, leave a comment below with any questions or feedback. And until next time, keep on automating.